Now I'm pleased to say Firefighting Simulator Ignite is the best firefighting sim out there right now. The problem with that claim is only competing against a pile of old tat, so best feels a bit like being crowned champion in a race against a snail. Yes, you're playing as a bloke with a hose, spraying down hot stuff, and you even get to do it online with your mates if that's what you so wish, but the deja vu is strong. It looks and feels suspiciously close to Firefighting Simulator The Squad. Same publisher, different developer, so what's the story here then? Some licensing reshuffle, or just copy and paste with a new lick of paint? Well, put the kettle on, grab a cuppa, and let's poke around in the ashes in today's review. So let's answer that question up front on the publisher and developer mixing. First up, this game is published by Astragon Entertainment, the same folks who published Firefighting Simulator The Squad. The key difference here then is that we have a totally different studio who developed it. Now, in my mind, that would mean entirely new gameplay features, new models, new graphics and the like, and yet I can't help but feel there is a lot of similarity here, and to call it an entirely new development team who've made everything from the ground up feels a bit, well, disingenuous. I mean, have a gander at this little segment here. Each new cut shows a different game, but I'm not telling you which is which. Can you honestly sit there and say that this is a brand new studio totally redeveloping their own firefighting game? Pull the other one, lads. The similarities are to the point of being a carbon copy. You do your own little drive to the blaze, mowing down pedestrians along the way without so much as a slap on the wrist. Then you park up nice and proper like you're on your own driving test. And you see that's exactly the same in both games. The same thing with the art style. It's near identical. The prep work, same old. Hoses into hydrants, some rummaging through the truck for tools, and the actual firefighting, you guessed it, deja vu with a splash of smoke. The AI is a touch less brain dead, but still dumb as nails, standing around like extras waiting for a cue. So when they say Firefighting Simulator Ignite is a completely new programmed game made by another developer team, well, I nearly choked on my pint. Sure thing, and guess what? I've got a 10-inch Todger that sings the national anthem. But with that out of the way, let's get into the gameplay. Yes, you can drive the big shiny truck to the scene and cause absolute carnage. They do grade you on how fast you arrive, but it's a bit daft really, because you can go full GTA, ploughing through traffic like it's bumper cars, and the pedestrians just puff out of existence like Casper, the friendly casualty. Hardly immersive firefighting, is it? Honestly, it's such a pointless segment, I stopped bothering. Thankfully, they give you the option to skip it, which I did more often than not. Once you're on scene, you get a quick briefing on the blaze, and then it's go time. And trust me, the fire doesn't sit still. It spreads like gossip at a Karen convention. You'll be pushing it back on one side only for another type of flame to kick off behind you. Standard fires are straightforward enough, but then you've got the electrical ones that can only be calmed down once you've hunted down the fuse box and cut the power. Gas fires are even worse, sprint around like a headless chicken until you find that valve. Then there's grease fires, exploding canisters, and every other way the game can to make you sweat. Later missions ramp it up with multiple fire types raging at once, all spreading in a way that's actually pretty convincing. You've even got a little meter in the top left corner showing if you're winning the battle, or if the inferno is giving you a proper spanking. Now throw in the semi-dynamic destructible environments and things start to heat up, quite literally. Floors can give way if they've taken too much punishment, dropping you like a sack of spuds. The fire creeps into ceilings and roofs too, forcing you to ventilate them or risk the whole fire becoming unstoppable. Locked doors, you gotta grab your tools and smash through. Need some height, without a big ladder, and off you go. One touch I actually really liked is how easy it is for things to reignite back up. You can almost see it coming, and yes, that's what she said. It's that faint amber glow like hot coals that are just waiting there to flare up. Smash a window or crack open the wrong door and boom, instant backdraft, and you'll be absolutely engulfed. And it's not just about the flames. You've got victims trapped in rooms or lying unconscious on the floor, so you and your 3 AI teammates have to juggle saving lives and keeping up with that inferno. Sounds cracking, right? And yeah, in many ways it is. But then the usual rot sets in. The AI, thick as mints and happy to let you carry the team while they stand around like interns on work experience being burnt alive. One of the core problems here is balance. Early missions are dull as dishwater. Tiny flames, easy wins, but once the game throws proper infernos at you, you need a solid crew. Trouble is, your AI colleagues are about as reliable as a chocolate fire guard. You can order them to attack a blaze or enter a room or follow your lead. 9 times out of 10 they'll just stand there, hose in hand, looking gormless while the building burns down around them. Sometimes they'll run off to help a fallen colleague and end up roasting themselves like a Sunday chicken. Take this warehouse mission for example. Multiple fire types meant swapping between water and foam, slowly working from the outside in. Sounds straightforward enough, but my AI Muppet teammates, they stood smack bang in the middle, spraying at random walls while the fire just laughed and spread right back. I had to restart that mission twice just to get enough of a head start, knowing full well my so-called teammates would be dead weight. Honestly, I've had threesomes with blow-up dolls that showed more initiative than these clowns. And if you're still with me at this point, do me a little favour, tap that subscribe and like button. It always helps the channel more than you know. Thank you very, very much. Anyway, we now come on to the victims you've got to save, and these lot, they're a proper bunch of twats. They couldn't escape a paper bag, let alone a burning building. They'll just stand frozen, flames licking at their arsehole, waiting for you to drag them out. In real life, you'd expect, I don't know, screaming at a window, maybe legging it to the farthest room, but not here. You've got to march right up to them and they'll follow you like sheep straight into more danger. The worst are the unconscious ones though, and not just because you've got to lug them back like a sack of shit, it's where you find them that really blows my mind. Sometimes they make sense, lying where the fire kicked off, making you think, well, maybe they got blasted in the face by something, but other times you're wandering through a perfectly fine office and there's some random bloke spark out on the floor, no scorch marks, no nothing. It looks less like smoke inhalation and more like he lost a bar fight on his lunch break. It's bemusing more than anything else. And then there's the total lack of polish. Half the time you're trying to grab the right hose nozzle from the truck, only to end up slamming doors open and shut as little Timmy is getting burnt inside his house. Controls aren't exactly consistent either. It's E on the keyboard to open a door, but suddenly it's left mouse button to attach a hose. Make your mind up, lads. And of course there is the glitches. At one point I was rescuing this twat from a blaze, leading him down the ladder, only for my character to keep climbing straight through the fire truck, clipping through the ground and leading the poor sod straight to hell. The frustrating bit is that underneath all this chaos, there's genuinely a decent game. When it clicks, the fire raging, me on the rope, scrambling to get control, I was actually having a bloody good time. But just as quick, the immersion shatters with twitchy mechanics, brain-dead AI, or another unconscious geezer dumped in the bogs for no apparent reason. It's like every time the game starts to shine, it dunks its own head in a bucket of water. Graphic-wise, a fire sim like this lives or dies on whether the world feels believable and destructible, and to be fair, it mostly delivers. The flames, they are the star of the show. You can spot the different behaviours straight away. You've got the roaring infernos, the ceiling fires that ripple like waves, and those nasty little embers that glow on the floor waiting to flare up again. I did try to grab some frame numbers for you lot, but no dice I'm afraid, as my software was playing silly buggers, so you'll have to take my word on how it felt to my eyes. And on my 1590 maxed out at 4K with frame gen turned on, it was fine. Playable, yes, but with micro stutters throughout, and I swear those flames looked like they were running at 30 FPS while the rest of the world ticked along smoothly. Maybe I didn't have too much smoke, but something, it definitely felt off. That aside, the tech behind it is clever. You can tell they've built the fire out of multiple smaller flame systems that react to each other, and the lighting sells it too. Crouch down and visibility improves as the smoke hangs above you with all its volumetric goodness. Knock the power out and your torch becomes essential, lighting all the dark areas. The thermal imaging gun at the end of the mission is a genius touch as well. No more faffing around hunting for that last ember like it's Where's Wally. Animations are ropey though, but physics sell the rest well. Watching floors collapse, beams drop and gas canisters pop is endlessly satisfying. Mixed with that solid art style, I'd say they mostly got the visuals right. Sound though, well, that left me a bit cold. Nothing terrible, but nothing that sticks either. The big miss is tone. A real fire doesn't politely crackle, it roars, it shakes the walls, it makes you feel like your eardrums might pack up and leave. That should be terrifying, and the game never quite pushes it to that boundary. They could have leaned harder into the ambience here, such as proper screams of panic instead of the daft muttering you get from the tuna melts, or how about some random glass shattering or wood groaning as it's about to give way. All that would have jarred up the dread. Instead, what we got is a muted mix undercut by a soundtrack that sounds like an eagle about to swoop in holding a Big Mac, waving the stars and stripes, shouting freedom. It's overblown melodrama that cheapens the moment. If anything, the fire sounded less like a raging inferno and more like my ex moaning, loud at first, then fizzles out the second you actually get into it. So I stand by my opening comment. This is by far the best firefighting sim out there. You will absolutely find some challenge in here, and I assume playing with your mates will up the ante even more. It looks more than decent in places, and gameplay wise it has an ebb and flow to it, especially if you lose control of a fire and it all starts reigniting back up. But the fundamental problem I have when playing these types of games is that I always feel there could and should have been so much more. There's something in this genre that should be absolutely riveting, with strategy baked in how to tackle a blaze. Instead you get the brain dead AI, twitchy controls, daft scenarios, forgettable sound, and a world that doesn't care if you just mowed down pedestrians en route to save a couple of burning trees in a park. I didn't hate my time with this, and if you spot it on sale, it's probably worth a punt if this genre is your sort of thing. Just keep expectations low so you're not disappointed, because as they say, there's no smoke without fire. Until next time, my lovelies, love to you all. Reggie out.